The Bad Movie Bible, the ultimate modern guide to movies that are so bad they're good. Edited and written by Rob Hill. I fell in love with this book immediately upon opening it when I saw it in the store. It had a brilliant chart using science, colors, and Batman to demonstrate how an awful movie can be more enjoyable than the average movie. Since it's supposed to be in color, let's change that. There we go. As you can see here, the good Batman movies include The Dark Knight and Batman 1989, and then the middling Batman movies include Batman the Movie 1966 and Batman Forever. The darkest red square is reserved for Batman vs. Superman, and Batman and Robin is so bad it's good that it becomes good Batman again. This chart spoke to me in ways no book has ever done before. And as the old saying goes, your franchise either dies a hero or lives long enough to become a villain. The book includes a reader's manual which rates all of these movies on 5 different categories, including cheese, acting, excess, sheer ineptitude, and a what factor. These 5 categories are recorded as such. The movie's then given a score out of 10 based on the amusement provided. So let's dig in and see what today's passage of the Bad Movie Bible has in store. Birdemic, Shock and Terror, from visionary director and writer James Wynn. This movie is a clusterfuck if I have ever seen one. It is shot on essentially a home video camera. Why did I say essentially? You can tell it's shot on like high 8, digital 8 camcorders that are probably as good or worse than the ones I owned and made movies on as a kid. But this guy is a fucking genius, James Wynn. This isn't even his first movie. Remind myself to look into the title of that one so you can watch that one as well. It is somehow worse than this. James Wynn was clearly inspired by the brilliant Alfred Hitchcock when he made this film, but not only that, he was also heavily inspired by An Inconvenient Truth, which is actually a plot point in the film. The characters go and see the movie and then immediately decide that we are terrible for the environment, and that is essentially what Birdemic is about. Except there's exploding eagles. They don't explain why they explode when they run into things or why they're attacking in the first place. But it's funny. The main character of this film is named Rob, played by Alan Baugh, and God bless him. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. He's fun to watch. He walks like he walks like an alien pretending to be a human would walk. Like, he needs walking lessons. It's a weird thing in the movie. Anytime he's walking anywhere, he looks like he is pretending to be human walking. And it makes for fun. And when he's not walking awkwardly, there are several minutes of scenes of people driving to places, parking their cars, and getting in and out of said parking spaces, and driving to other places. So a good 15 minutes of this film is probably shots of cars parking and unparking. Back to him, right? He is a software engineer who is very interested in solar panels. Once his software engineering company gets bought out for $1 billion, every quantity of money in this movie is a perfectly round number made of ones and zeros. He makes $10 million sales at half price. I don't know how he still has a job. And then his company is bought out by $1 billion. So him and his doofy best friend, who is the closest thing in this film to a character with a personality, but he's not in it enough to like affect it really. You know, good for him. He's the douchey, sex-crazed best friend of Rob, who happens to be dating a girl who happens to be friends with a girl he happens to meet, who he happened to went to high school with in the film, named Natalie. Natalie is played by Whitney Moore, and she's a sweetheart. You can tell. I love watching bad acting, but I hate saying bad things about it because I can't act my way out of a bag either, so I can't complain, right? I just enjoy watching it. But Natalie is a lingerie model, and they happen to meet each other just outside walking around, and then they go out on a date at good Vietnamese restaurant, and they hit it off, and then blah, 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 relationship crap. And then they become a real couple and introduce each other to Natalie's mom. And then they make sex somewhere in what is I think supposed to be an apartment, but it's clearly a very shitty hotel room with nothing else in it but a bed and a toilet. But hey, movie making. you got $12 to work with. You got to pay for an hour of a hotel room, I guess. So if this happens for going on 40 minutes of the movie, pretty much half the movie goes by before birds are introduced. The day after they finally hook up, you would say. They wake up to buildings and birds flying around exploding. Why do the birds explode? Who knows? They are vultures and eagles. Apparently, that's what they say. They don't look like that. The CGI in this movie is among the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. It was like a paid animation that costs like $10 or something, the director said. And then he essentially used the same exact effect over and over and over again in the entire movie, where the birds are just hovering in space or crashing down into things and then causing little smoke and fire things happening. It's a hoot and a half. It's going to make you want to call your family and hang out with them. There's a song about that in the movie. Probably the best part of the movie, because it lasts way too long. When they wake up to the threat of the birds, they get together with the people from the apartment next door and arm themselves with the best weapon they have, coat hangers, because that'll do. And then they go to this guy's van, which is like a $300 van James Wynn bought, and it kept breaking down as they were shooting the movie. There's some funny behind-the-scenes things about this movie that are very entertaining to watch. The best part about them having the coat hangers is that the instant they get into this guy's car who they're with, he has like several machine guns in his car. And it's like, you just have that sitting in the seat? Like, what is wrong with you people? So they drive around trying to survive with their car breaking down constantly, taking food from gas stations, running into scary people and some not so scary people like tree huggers. They find a couple of children who need help whose parents were brutally murdered by the birds along the way. One of the characters dies taking a shit. It's all good things. I'm not the biggest fan of trying to spoil entire movies, but, you know, when the movie's going on, 13 years old or what have you, it doesn't really matter. And it really doesn't matter for a movie like this. It's fun. I can't express how fun this movie is to watch. Even by myself the other day watching it, I had a hoot and a half of a time, because it's every single second of this movie makes you laugh or cringe and then smile from the cringe and then begin to laugh. It's just a fun time all around. I still need to watch the 2 sequels. I'm mustering up the courage. I hear they're worse than the first one, but I have a bad feeling they're going to be the bad kind of bad movie where they're trying to be bad, while this one is genuinely a movie this guy was trying to make, and it just ended up being this hysterical piece of dog shit that's lasted way longer than it ever should have. Kind of like Ed Wood films in a way, or The Room. This is like The Room if Hitchcock made it. I'll plug the release I bought recently here. This is the Wings of Disaster trilogy from the fine folks at Synapse. It's lenticular. I did an unboxing of it. So if you want to see more into it, look at that. But this is a good set, and it's like $30 for 3 movies, all on Blu-ray. You can get just the first one on its own, and do yourself a favor and watch it somehow, even if it's just with riff tracks, which is how I watched this movie the first 75 times I watched it before I bought this box set. And even without the riff tracks, it's damn hilarious. So what does the Bad Movie Bible have to say about Birdemic, Shock and Terror? A movie that contains brilliant dialogue like this. What if these things can read our minds? I'm just tired of all the fucking killing in Iraq. Why can't we just give peace a chance? And congratulations, I think you'll look great in those lingerie. Well, here's where it sits. It is given a score of 9 in cheese, 8 in acting, 5 in excess, 10 in ineptitude, and a 10 in the what factor, giving Birdemic, Shock and Terror an overall Bad Movie Bible rating of 9 out of 10. I hope you like these little things. I don't want to make them too long or too excessive. I want to make more episodes like this. If you like them, tell me, and I'll make even more episodes, but I made the damn intro, so I'm using it at least a handful of times. But there's a lot of good bad movies out there that I can't wait to get into. Things like Troll 2, Superman 4, Batman and Robin, Miami Connection. They're all coming. They're all coming eventually. So on that note, please like, share, and mainly subscribe to the channel. I got like 200 videos to watch, and I'm just starting this little thing here. If you like it, there'll be more. If you don't like it, I probably have something you do like. Go back and watch that instead. I don't care. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.